I will not. Sorry, I got a little blurb that said that it was recording was starting. I was like, okay, I know, don't worry, but
that was me. Sorry.
But so I tend to, because I sign like I speak, so I'm not going to hide it. I do have kind of, so when I think about words, especially I use the word like a lot, and I use those kind of just like fillers. So when I'm saying things like I'm fixing or planning to, like, because I'll use planning. I'm planning to go to the store. I'm
planning with an I-N.
Yes, not planning.
So I would figure like for both of them would be, it's just using the sign plan, which is plan. So plan is plan.
I like
and it's
that.
kind of like I'm planning.
It's almost like designations of,
Yes, like here are my plans. I'm doing this, this, and this. And so I always will say, I'm planning to go blah, 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 blah. Usually not when I say I'm going to the store, unless I'm like explaining it to them. But I do have tendencies. I've caught myself. I was just like, I'm planning. And I'm like, sliding. I don't know if that's actually needed, but I'll be like, I'm planning. So.
Well, Winnie, it's funny you said that, because I'm born and raised in Alabama, and I'm married to a guy born and raised in Chicago. I've never said fixing to in my entire life, and he says it all the time.
Oh, you're kidding.
He's from Chicago, but it's because he's in the building industry and he's surrounded by bubbas who say fixing to. He's picked up so many Southernisms that I don't have, because my parents didn't talk like that, so I didn't talk like that.
That's really funny.
But I don't even know to take a shower right now.
I don't even know who I picked it up from, because I didn't even know I said it.
We all probably have things we wish we didn't say. Anyway.
Well, and the best part too is, I don't know if I mentioned this, but I wish I knew more of this. I would love to learn this myself, but about that, like I said, there's regional signs. Well, there's also ASL like slang. So like how, in the South we have those we use these words.
Y'all.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to remember if I've been shown any ASL slang. I cannot for the life of me remember. There's a few terms that are ones that they use for like, so for saying like I really love something, or like that's like awesome, is they'll do like the kiss fist, like And so I think I've said that, and if I repeated myself, I apologize. Like I said, it was a long day, so who knows if I'll remember everything I've said. So, but I think that's always such a cool thing to me, is that ASL also has its own slang. Like it's not just it's only used when it's spoken language. Like no, it's also in sign as well, and I think it's such a cool thing. But I wanted to actually add, so this past weekend my old college professor, her husband is a pastor, and they have set up a deaf church in Hoover, and it's called the New Deaf Church. And so she used to work at Brooklyn Forest Elementary as like an interpreter / teacher, but now she's moving on to just fully being a college professor, because she just feels like that's kind of like the next chapter of her life, which is great. But anyway, so she's slowly getting, things, trying to get rid of things. So she's like, hey, let's meet and I can give you these things I have. Well, anyways, because I'm totally going off. But anyway, so I went to her deaf church service on Sunday because they were celebrating the graduating class of ASD. And I got to meet a very, very sweet woman who has lived, I believe, in Alabama all her life. And she was born and raised deaf. And it was so funny because she's very big on, she knows the old signs. And I ended up using the sign because I say light blue, light green, that. And that's what I see a lot of other deaf adults use as well. When I did that, she looked at me and she's like, light, and just and so then she kind of lead right into a little lesson of, is it light blue or is it light blue? And I was at first like saying light blue, because I thought she was trying to, and I didn't pick up at first. And then when she said that, I was like, oh, is like light blue, like light blue? And she goes, yes. She goes, are you talking about a light bulb? Which are you talking? And so it got into a funny conversation because she was saying, are you saying you have a blue light bulb? And I was like, you know what? No, I want the bigger blue light bulb. And so I was just teasing her back. But I wanted to show you that while I said this is light blue, that there is also the light blue. So light. And it's because I think it's the opposite of dark, which is dark shade. So light blue. So I thought that'd be interesting for you guys. I won't deny I do not have as many signs for today. And I think it's just because this is the last one. I wanted it kind of being a little bit of a review. And also, again, any signs you can think of, just throw them at me. We got this. So one of the biggest ones I thought was a good one to have is medicine, the sign for medicine. And so the sign for medicine, gotta pull this down, is you're going to have your non-dominant hand facing up, like your palm is up, and your dominant middle finger is going to stand at the end of your palm, and then you like shake it, your top fingers. So medicine. You want to make sure your fingers are all sticking out. So medicine. So that's the sign for medicine. Let's see. Oh goodness, sorry, my iPad deleted all of the words I put on the paper on my thing. It happens. I love when that happens. So I'm trying to think of what other ones I had. So computer and laptop, because I don't think I've shown that one. So laptop is real easy. It's very visual. Is you kind of do this laptop. So it's like opening up your laptop. And then computer is going to be a C, and you're going to brush it up against your arm. Computer. And again, it'd be like kind of that relaxed. It's not fully up like computer. It's computer. I don't think I showed you guys the sign for strong last week. So strong, and this is also the sign for brave. And it's where you pull your hands on your shoulders and you pull them out. It's almost like you're pulling your muscles. So strong, brave and strong. And then, did I show y'all lazy last week? Okay, because I couldn't remember.
I think so.
Okay, so there's lazy. Well, there's also loyal. And this one I also kind of recently realized. So loyal is almost like you kind of like loyal, and it's like a little fancy circular hat. So lazy is just you tap. It's like you're not doing much, lazy. But then loyal is you shake and then tap. So loyal. Sorry, I know I keep going. Did I do this? But that's just like how my brain's going. Lawyer. Did I show you guys lawyer? I believe I have in the past. But lawyer. And then let's see. What was the other one I had? I'm so sorry for this. I'm trying to really think on them all. Well, okay. So for describing a room, this is actually a good one. For things like your couch, your chair, your bed. So first off, the sign for bed is like bed. And then you have pillow, and pillow, you're going to be a little more it's like you're holding the form like pillow, like your pillow, like you're holding your pillow. So when you're describing a room, one of the big like key details is wherever you set up your room, you have to keep it that way. And that sounds crazy. I have to explain it, but that's kind of what I'm saying. So if I'm saying I have French doors and they open like this, I cannot suddenly say they open here. I cannot say they open here. I cannot say it's just one door. I have to follow through that. And the reason is because it's so visual. It's like you're painting a picture. And we're not trying to do an abstract picture because, we're doing a real life thing. So you have to kind of keep it consistent. So if you're saying you have a dinner table and you said I have a circular table here, and then you have your chairs, you're not going to go chair. You're going to try to very well put your table, chair, and just kind of pull them. So you see what I mean? Here, I'll try to do a bird's eye view. So here's your table, and then here's chair. So you would kind of make it where they can see, oh, that's the table. Now, that's actually one way they describe chairs and a table. And so when you have the table, you would be like table here, and you want to go chair. You can, but they'll actually do this where they have like the bent X's and they place them sideways. And it's because it's like people's legs. And so chair. They'll do it for like desks when you're just, and so that's just usually for just describing a room. If you're saying I need the chair, then you would say I need chair, like bring it here. So again, that's kind of, it's very important to try to visualize keeping your picture of your placement of your room to keep it so they can understand. Oh, I know a sign I wanted to say was stadium. And this is also the sign for auditorium. And so it's this, and you pull it up. So auditorium, stadium, and it's like the many different rows of chairs. And so that's kind of what that one is. Sorry. Like I said, I really was from getting that point, and I'm really sorry. I usually try to not be this way. I have a recent sign I learned from my students, and it's the sign for awards. I had no idea what this sign was, and they kept saying to me about 40 different times, asking me about awards, and I said, I have no idea what that sign is. What's the word? And they couldn't describe it. They just kind of sat there like. So I finally asked the co-teachers, like, okay, what is this? And they're like, oh, that's awards. It's like, I've been trying to figure out if they were using a bad word in my class for the longest time. I was like, what is this? So awards is awards. Awards. It's like you have your Y's, they touch. Awards. 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 Yeah. I think that's the strangest sign ever, in my opinion. Just because, like, I would have expected like an award, like something, because this is celebrate. So I thought, be something around there. Because when you get an award, it's a good thing. So then we have for, what was I going to say? Oh, glasses. I don't know if I got to that description part when I was talking about how you would describe a person. And like earrings and jewelry. So glasses is obviously glasses. Very simple. If you're describing jewelry, you'll point, you kind of like point, and you almost like describe it. And then for wedding rings, you just kind of like tap your finger, like ring. And that's kind of like, with necklace, that's the same kind of thing. I tend to not always have that much jewelry on. And that's just actually because for me, it's easier not having things on my hands and wrists when I'm signing, because it's very distracting. And when it moves a lot, I remember my professors were very big on, when you're teaching or you're doing anything in form of interpretation and doing interpreting, you want to keep things off your wrists and your hands. That could be distracting. And that's also the same for clothes. As they say, you want to use more solid colors, like just plain black colors, so that way it doesn't clash when you're signing, and like the dot, like how my polka dots. And I took her literal. I thought, oh my gosh, that's the only way I'm ever going to wear clothes, is all has to be solid colors. That's going to stress me out. And then I came to school and I saw all of my coworkers, especially the deaf teachers, all wearing like patterns. And I was like, all right, we're good. We're good. Okay. If they're doing it, like, I mean, come on, I can do it. So, but yes. What else is there? I'm just losing the brain on words to sign. The sign for umbrella. So I know this is just a random bunch of signs, and I apologize. There's a lot of signs that are just hitting me now going, you probably need this, and I didn't think of it. So umbrella is real easy, and it's just umbrella, umbrella. So that's always a nice one to find, an easy one. You know what? I'm gonna let you guys, are there any signs you guys want to know? And then I'm just gonna start trying to look again in my bedroom, and find stuff, because I apologize for this. Are there any signs y'all can think of you feel are just curious on? Yes, Miss Katie?
Could you show me again signs like, I just can't remember if we did these or not. Learn? Did we do, or like if someone was asking for a book and I wanted to say, what do you want to learn, or what do you need to know? How would I say something like that?
So the sign for learn is the sign for not teacher. Sorry. So you have teach, learn, and this also goes into student, is learn is you're going to start with your palm up, and it's like you're putting it into your brain. So it's like
Oh, okay.
picking up. So learn.
Okay.
And then you would go learn. So this is student.
Okay.
Student. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's one I actually don't think I've shown y'all. So I'm very grateful you asked about that. When you're asking about like what kind of book you want to look at or what kind of book you're looking for, you can ask them like the book kind. So kind is this.
Kind.
It's like
Okay.
K's, and one goes in a circle around the other. So kind.
Kind.
That's
okay.
when you go like what. So book, kind, what. And then if you're not sure you're getting your point across, you can say like animals, medical, any of those kinds of things. So that is something that I feel kind. And then if all else fails, you can finger spell things. Like if you're trying to figure out if they want like fiction or nonfiction, you can always do the fake or real, but you can also, to make sure it's very, because I understand with books, like you can say, oh, I want a book about dogs. Well, it can be a fake book about dogs, or it could be a real book about dogs. So that can get a little fuzzy.
Hey, can you do fake and real again?
Yes. Let me turn on another light real quick. I'm seeing how this light is really watching me out. So give me like 2 seconds. I have it right here. I can fix.
I'm in the dark, so I don't really care. I'm so tired. I don't know if I have pants on. I know I have a top on. I'm so tired.
Beth, you are so funny. I was going to have a glass of wine in your honor, but then I thought I might fall asleep.
Well, I was glad you came because I was going to ask you about your family when we get to that point. I've been thinking about your family.
I've been trying to get on. I couldn't get on. I don't know what the problem was, but
I
thank
see
you.
you connected with your phone and maybe with a computer at the same time. Yeah, my Zoom classes, everybody does that.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
But
We'll
Thank
talk
you.
later.
That's very
We'll
sweet.
drink later. We'll talk about her. Okay, go ahead.
what was the question again? What was the Miss Winnie, you had it?
Fake and real.
Fake and real. Because I remember last week you did lie. Was it like lie and
Lie. Mm-hmm. So
Lie.
lie is
Truth.
So truth and real are the same. So truth and real is you start at like the bottom of your chin and you push it up. Like it's real. Like this is truth. So this is real and truth. And it's like you're sliding it up your chin. This is very weird looking at from a side view, but this is truth. Fake is you're going to have your pointer finger again just go across your chin. Fake. And a lot of times you'll have like you're making the F sound, like fake. That.
Okay.
While we're at it, and we have many more people who joined. I watched my screen smaller and smaller. I know, I'm so happy, but I was like, oh, they're getting smaller. So, what I was telling them is that today, since it's the last class, I kind of wanted this more of like to be, if there's any questions or any signs you guys would like to know or want any like review or kind of curious. I was going to say curiosity, curious about. This is the kind of time you can ask any signs you think. I've been trying to think of, so I have 2 that just hit me. I'm glad they hit me. But one is vaccine and one like a shot. And then one is COVID, the sign for coronavirus, because we do have a sign for coronavirus. So for vaccination / shot, it's very simple. You got your 3 fingers and you're going to pretend like you're giving yourself a shot. So, because that was a sign that I didn't know until I had to get my vaccination, and my co-teachers would ask me, "Oh, was your shot? Like, how was it? Was it good? Like, did it hurt? And they kept going shot," and I was like, "Okay, that's an easy one to pick up on, but I'm good to know. Good to know that's it." So, coronavirus. The sign for that is you're going to have your non-dominant hand a fist, and your dominant hand is going to be like on top of it, like this. And you're going to spin it out like it's spreading.
It looks like the corona, the actual virus.
That's why I think I'm sure that's why they made it this way. So it's like it's spreading. So that's coronavirus.
It's so cool that you're alive when they created a word. They created a word in your lifetime. That's pretty cool.
I know. Well, and I sit there and I think, wow, that's so crazy, because I'll talk to some old professors who, oh, well, they'll be very mad if I said old, but some older professors who will say they can remember when the year 2000 happened and how it was a big debate on how you would sign it. So when you're signing a year,
Like
especially-
Y2K, you mean, when all the computers were supposed to crash that didn't?
yeah.
I still have food from then that I stocked up.
Well, so what you do usually when you're signing a year is, for example, for the year 2020, is you would do the sign 2020. So 2020, very easy, 2020. If you were going to do the sign like 1972, you would do 1972. So very easy that. Well, when it came to the year 2000, they didn't know if you would say 2000 or 2000 or just 2000. And they were I remember my professor said it was a kind of an interesting debate. Like, no one was like mad going, no, it can't be that. But they're like, none of this feels right, because it's not, yes, it's the year 2000, but it's like, you're not saying, it just felt weird when you're after going 1999 to going 2000, and then saying 2000 was not, they're like, that does not make sense. And just 20 zeros, like, so I remember that was an interesting conversation she said, was because I think they all just kind of were like, it's again not a big where they're like, we all have to sign it this way. It was more, you have your own choice, but I think they came down to where they're like the 2000, just because even though it was longer, it was clear. And it's interesting now trying to sign like for school year, saying the school year 2020, 2021, because that's a lot of twiz for speaking. Well, and signing it's that 2020, 2021. And I will have to sit there because my brain wants to go, just say 20 to 21. And I'm like, no, because they'll think I'm talking about just the year 2021. So that's always something I always thought was interesting, how you would sign years. And this one's kind of self-explanatory, but just to, in case you were curious, but so when you're signing like a date, like a specific date, is like May 25th, is you would first finger spell the day, the month, May, then the 25th, and then you would say the year 2020. I think, very self-explanatory. It's like how we do in our papers, but you never know. Someone might be just wanting to make sure.
Curious, do Europeans do it 25 May 2021 because that's how they write it?
They might actually. I've not met anybody that's from a different country who uses a different form of sign language.
But that's how Europe, they do 25
yes.
May.
And I feel like that would be something I would assume they would do that. So, but there was something that came and then it went away as I was thinking about it.
Hey, Jillian.
Yes.
Are there signs for like computer lab or Wi-Fi or wireless or stuff like that? Like
technology.
Apps?
Yes.
Yeah.
So one of the signs for Wi-Fi is you're gonna have your two middle fingers and they're gonna tap Wi-Fi. And this is kind of my favorite one because it's just, I don't know why, but it makes me laugh, is for like saying your Wi-Fi's down, like your internet's down, is you slice your finger down, like it's down. And I had to sign that yesterday because my internet just went during class. And I always, in my mind, I hear the like, it's down. And I don't know why that sign makes me laugh, but that's like one of my favorite ones to do, especially, and it's like, but obviously it's at the worst time because as I'm trying to do stuff for class and then I'm like, my internet's just, it's gone. So that's internet. Internet's down. The sign for technology, this is one I should have started with, is you're going to have your non-dominant hand sideways with your thumb pointing towards you. You're going to have, again, that middle finger of your dominant hand, and you're going to tap like the bottom of your hand like this, and that's like technology. So this is the sign for like any kind of technology. Like if you're saying like the IT group, you can do IT. You could be like technology person. So technology. The sign for iPad. So it's very, again, self-explanatory. Palm, your non-dominant hand, palm up, dominant hand, middle finger again, and it's like you're swiping across on an iPad. So
What about iPhone? Well, we already did phone. So
what's actually funny is watching some of the kids who are trying to describe iPhone, and what they'll do is they'll put their I, instead of saying I, they'll go iPhone, like iPhone, because they were asking me about that today. And they'll add usually the description of like the Apple, Apple, iPhone. So for the signs for app, there isn't really a sign for app, unfortunately. It's just APP. And I I remember when I was learning signs, I really had hoped there'd be a cool sign for apps, because, apps are just kind of a cool big thing. And once I realized, I kind of thought, it's 3 letters. Of course, there's no sign. There was another word you said, Miss Katie. I'm trying to remember. It's like one of the first words you said.
the computer lab.
Computer lab.
Yeah.
So for computer lab, you would do computer and then you'd finger spell lab. Let's see. So I didn't show you guys the signs for, these are more academic signs. So I know they might not be as like much pertaining to you, but they are still signs. The signs for math, science, social studies, and English and reading. And so the sign for math is you're going to have 3 fingers on both sides, and you're going to go across them like this, math. Like you're brushing them against each other. And the reason for this afterward, like I'm trying to go slow. So it's like they're like clashing on top of each other, math. And the sign for multiply is around that as well. I will not go into all the academic signs, just because I feel like you guys are gonna be like, I'm not a teacher, I don't need these signs. But for science is gonna be like this. Your knuckles, your fingers are down, your thumbs are out, and you're gonna go science. And it's that action of like when you're doing science experiments, so science. And the cool thing with science is that when you're saying biology or chemistry, it's the same sign, but with the C's for chemistry, B's for biology.
Oh, cool. Okay.
I love that. I think that's such a cool little thing they have. For social studies, it's just S. Like I use SS. That's what I've seen in my school. It's just SS. For history, you'll see the H, history, and you just kind of shake it gently. English is, again, I'm sorry, I'm going really fast. I apologize. But English is just English. You're going to have your fist resting. Your top hand is going to go on top of your non-dominant hand, and you pull it towards yourself. So English. And this is it's not just the subject English, but it's like I speak English. Mm-hmm. The sign so I'll get back to that, because I'll give you guys the sign for French, Spanish, the ones I know of that as well. And I'm sorry, I keep going off on these tangents on, I can show y'all this, I can show y'all that. And I apologize if it's a very chaotic episode, like end of our class. So, I like to keep it interesting, but reading is just reading, just the reading class. So that one's kind of a given, but I said it, so I was going to make sure I signed it. So going back to English, I'm going to give you guys the signs for town, city. Well, town and city are pretty much the same sign. State and country, and then world. Because I never gave you guys that. And that's good for directions and just explaining your location. So the sign for town is you're going to do this, and you're just kind of like brush town. Oh goodness, now town. There we go. Sorry, I had to stop and think for a minute. It's like you're tapping, and it's like that. You're almost like forming the house. And what you'll do is you'll kind of tap across, so like town. There's many houses. I know I'm going it's kind of strange. So town. The sign for city as well. The sign for state is you're going to make an S, and you're going to have your non-dominant hand again sideways, and state is going to go tap, tap. So top and bottom. Excuse me. And this is also the sign for, like again state, but like state law, those kinds of things. So I'm trying to think of another time where you use the word state, not statement, because statement would be like I said, but
He stated something. That
So
would
that
be
would-
said. That would just be
Yeah.
said.
but I know I've seen others be like state, like guidelines. But anyways,
Secretary of
then we
State.
have country. So country is you're gonna want your non-dominant elbow. It's gonna look awkward because I have to lift it up. If when you guys do it, it's just lower, and your dominant hand's gonna brush in circles on your elbow. And one of my favorite things I love about this sign is that this is also the sign for cracker.
Weirdest thing I've ever heard.
And I think it is so funny because when you're describing it and they said, because I remember when I first learned, I was like, how are they going to know the difference between I'm talking about a country and not a cracker? And my professor said, it's context.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that makes sense. But
Unless you go out in the country to eat crackers, I mean,
like, I just remember it stumped me. I was like, wait, but like, it doesn't even, it's not even food. Like, it's not even like around the mouth. It stumped me. That was like one of the biggest ones that got me. But so state, country, cracker. World is kind of easy. So it's you're making two W's and you're going to start sideways and one's going to go around the other. So world. And it's to describe the the sphericalness of the world.
Yeah.
So for, if you were to say the USA, you would do the USA. Those slight little circles. And then if anyone needs me to like stop and kind of go back, it's just been a little bit of a craziness with signs. So I will try to remember all the signs I will use. I know Miss Beth's over there writing them all down for me. So.
And I said I wasn't going to, but it's in my nature to take notes. I'm sorry.
So, oh, that's such a cute doggy. I'm sorry. I'm a dog person. If I see an animal, I'm always like, I gotta pay attention to that real quick. Such a cute dog.
Thank you.
Oh.
She felt left out.
She's like, I have to be in the ASL class too. You actually can technically teach dogs ASL.
Really?
Well,
Yeah,
I was
like-
going to ask you how an ASL person would train their dog. I mean, I was going to ask you that days ago.
It's by signing. It's you just sign it, because I've actually taught my dog Henry to sit when I make the sign sit. I'll just look at him. I don't say anything, but I go sit. And it's really cool. I want to teach him more. I need to keep going with him, but if everything went, I wasn't able to, but I'm hoping this summer I'll get to. But I think that's such a cool thing. And it's because they say, well, dogs don't rely on, like, they're not hearing our words and going, she said the word sit, so I have to sit. They just know that there's certain tones that way you're saying it. Oh, she wants me to sit. Or you have to, like, I tend to snap and point down, and that's how I say sit. So he's picked up on that sit and that sit. But that's like the coolest thing to me, is because there are also deaf dogs out there, and some people will go, well, you can't train them. You can't train them. I'm like, yes, you can. Yes, you can. Don't say you can't. You just train them a different way. But
Oh, that's cool.
yes. Anyway, so the signs for some countries. So you have Spain. So Spain is going to have your two X's. One's going to start from like your dominant side, start from your shoulder. That's the word. My bad. And you'll have the other one in the middle, and you'll bring your dominant one towards your middle finger, your middle one. Sorry, that is a weird wording. So here to here, Spain.
That makes no sense.
And then I'm sure there's like good stories about where these
I
signs
think
came
there was
from.
somebody drinking wine when they made up some of these things.
And then
Or if it was Portugal, they were drinking port. What's Portugal? You don't know, probably.
so the sign for France
Okay.
is France. So it's going to be the F, and you just flip it. France.
Oh, well, that's perfect, because they flip everything over there. Okay, that's good. Flip your F. Got it.
And these are also the signs you would say for when you're saying, like, I need a Spanish interpreter. I'm taking a Spanish class. I'm taking a French class. You would say the French and the Spanish. So, while we're on France, I might as well show you French fries. I can't believe I didn't show you guys French fries. French fries is, you're gonna have the F and you're gonna tap them. So 1, 2, French fries, French fries. I don't know. I love that sign, French fries. We have, so I'm not going to give as many signs for the other countries. And the reason is because we have newer ones that are kind of coming, they're slowly becoming more popular. And the reason is because a lot of our older signs for countries are kind of racist or they're a little insulting.
I was just going to ask you, I bet the Asian countries, you did something racist that would not be politically correct. I knew that would be true because you'd probably do something like that and it would be horrible. So,
yes.
yay,
And
I'm glad it's
changed. They are changing them, but so what's kind of hard is that you don't get a clear what is the most appropriate one to use of now. So a lot of times when I'm using, especially if I'm saying like China or Japan, I tend to just fingerspell them because, you know, it's not like you're saying Indonesia, which is a long name. I would still fingerspell that, but it's like, you know, it's not that difficult to fingerspell those names. Oh, excuse me. For Mexico, and this is also for when you're saying like someone is Mexican, is you kind of have the V and you're going to brush up against your forehead. Mexico. Let's see. I'm trying to think of any other signs I know that are not insulting because that's all I can remember my teacher teaching me was these are not.
We're going to Scotland in a few months. What's Scotland?
Oh, I used to know this one. Give me 1 second because this is the last class. I refuse to go with I don't know the sign for something. I mean, I probably would be, unfortunately. Let's see.
It's probably the sound of the kilt or something.
I would feel something like that. Okay, here we go. I'm finding it. Okay, I'm going to tell you this sign, but please do not hold it against me if it's now not the right one.
Okay.
It's not bad. It's just Scotland. It's like you have your 4 fingers and you brush them across Scotland.
Okay.
Did you ever find the correct sign for Hanukkah? Did you ever find it?
Looked and I could not find it, and I am still on the hunt for that. So I'm sure it's the 4 fingers like this. I mean, I'm confident in that, but Miss Andy, if I end up finding that's not it, I will call Miss Katie and be like, you need to contact Miss Andy so she can have the right sign because I refuse to be leaving you with the wrong sign. So
thank you.
I will double check. Tomorrow's my last day and I'll put that down. I had it down to look and I couldn't find it on anything. I'm like, well, probably should ask the best resource I have.
Here it is. I looked it up. You're right.
It is? Okay. That's what I figured.
Yeah.
So Hanukkah. I did find the sign for
forward. Thumb is forward.
Forward, right. Yeah. That's what I thought. So I did the sign was also another sign you were asking for was grumpy. And so I did find grumpy. And grumpy is this. It's like you're kind of, bouncing fingers, grumpy. And you make the face of it too. So grumpy. Let's see. I keep leewaying and I'm trying to go back, but now I've gone so far leewaying that I don't know which path I started with. So are there any signs right at the moment, like any other ones you guys can think of? I'm trying to think of what was there? There was, I hate when this happens, when I sit here and I forget. It just really gets me. Okay, did I show you all the sign for jail? Okay. I love how that just was what came to my mind. I don't know why it did.
I was going to ask you, why did that come into your mind?
I have no idea. I mean, like I said, it was a crazy day today. It's been long. My brain's pretty much just scatterbrained.
Jail.
So you were really close, Ms. Beth.
I knew it was the bars of the jail. It had to be.
Jail.
Okay.
So jails, you're going to have your 4 fingers and you're going to have one hand behind the other and you're going to tap it. So you see, it's like you're coming forward, tapping. They don't cross or anything. They just tap. tap. So that's jail. Let's see. Any others? Oh goodness me. I'm trying to think of. Because there's so many signs. There's
Yeah,
obviously.
I can't even remember if we've asked. God, 8 weeks is a lot of words. I don't know.
I did give y'all a lot of words, so which doesn't help myself because now I'm sitting here going, okay, well, I've given y'all so many words, but I've also not given you all the words that I know. So what else can I provide to you? Did I ever show you guys the sign for all? Like we're all. I was about to start. My brain was going into High School Musical mode of saying we're all in this together.
We're all in this together. Okay.
So all is you're going to start with your A and you're going to go into an L. All.
Oh, I like that.
All. I really like this one. All. So the A, all. All. It's like you start from one shoulder and you end at the other. All.
Oh, across there. Okay.
All. Because this is kind of your square of signing. You didn't see the bottom of the square, but your square of signing is around here. You don't sign too much up here and you don't sign super down low. You stay in this kind of bubble. So all. So I can give you guys the sign for Rocket as well as the sign for Huntsville. I know none of y'all live in Huntsville, but you know, it's still fun to learn. So the sign for Rocket is you're going to have an R. And again, your non-dominant hand sideways, and R is going to go up. Rocket. And the reason I said I can also give you the sign for Huntsville is because Huntsville is an H, and you do the same thing because of the Rocket Center. Rocket. In Huntsville. About each town, some towns have their own sign names. I'm trying to think. Birmingham's always gets me confused because every time I ask someone, you can go ask 4 different people, what's the sign for Birmingham? And they'll tell you 4 different signs. Because I've seen Birmingham, I've seen Birmingham. So I just tend to fingerspell it. I know it's long. Once you start that BIR, they pretty much know where you're at. Right. Like, okay, you're talking about that place. I'm only going to know cities that are near my school, which kind of makes sense because those are the kids who need it the most. But the sign for Oxford and Anniston. So you have your non-dominant hand kind of bent like this. Oxford is going to go O-O. Oxford. It's hard to see. Oxford is the O. Oxford. Anniston is the A. Anniston. That way. Talladega is Talladega. It's also the sign for Texas. There are a few states that have their own special signs, and I can't believe I never told y'all these. So I'll show y'all them right now. I apologize. This is a very chaotic class, but I think that's what makes it fun and interesting is you never know where what next sign we're gonna have. So I'm gonna show you the sign for Alabama because Alabama is our place right now. Is Alabama. Is you're going to just kind of go back and forth between the L and the A, Alabama. So Alabama. Georgia, a lot of them are like their initials, like how A-L, Alabama, Georgia, North Carolina's and C. Now, there are a few that have their own special sign, and that's like California and New York. So New York has non-dominant hands palm up, dominant hands in the shape of a Y, and you go back and forth across. And I think, and it's to represent like going back and forth on trains. So like are the train systems and the subways. That's the word. Sorry. I was born and raised in the South. We don't have subways here, like unless it's a food place. So subways.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry. Lord, Miss Beth, right there.
You're hilarious today.
What happens when I'm tired? My brain's just like, you know what? There's no filter. We're just gonna say what's coming.
Now that's New York City or New York?
New York, and I would figure for New York City, you would say NYC.
Okay.
You can't say New York City, but I usually see NYC, just since that's a popular thing. Then for California is a little interesting because it's also the sign for gold. And I think it's because it has to do with
the gold rush.
Thank goodness you said it. I thought that's what it was, but I'm not a historian. I
1849.
never know where my places are.
I lived there for 10 years. Yes. Anyway.
I'm not a geography person at all, so I'm always concerned I'm going to be wrong. So, just with geography. Anyway, so gold. So, the sign for gold is the sign for California. And
Oh,
have your pointer finger bouncing. You just have it kind of coming in, California. And again, it's based off context. You're not going to say, you know, I like the color California. You're going to say, I like the color gold. So,
or I'm flying to gold. Yeah, you wouldn't say that.
there are moments where I'll be staring at a kid signing a sentence and I'm not catching up with the context, and I will think that, what are you saying? And then one of the teachers will look at me and they know I'm not understanding, and they'll finger spell the word. I'm like, okay, I knew that was the meaning for it, but I did not, nothing connected. And I'm like, my bad. So, and then we have Texas. So Texas is the X, and you just kind of make a side, and it's due to how it's like almost kind of shaped. It's a little weird, but so Texas. And then, oh, I had something else I was gonna say. What was it? Texas, and a few. And again, these are a lot of times these are regional signs. So sometimes you may go to New York and say, oh, I'm here in New York, and they'll say, that's not our sign. But and the nice thing I always think about when you do come across one of those where the regional signs are different is like all else fails, finger spell. Let's see, what else was there? There was something else I was gonna say. Well, while I'm thinking, are there any other signs? I know I've asked that about 40 different times tonight, and I feel like I'm constantly I'm like a broken record. But are there any signs y'all are curious of?
Is there anything that people commonly do that's offensive that we should avoid doing? You know, that we might not realize we're doing?
Thank you, Lee. Thank you. That's a great question.
So I actually have one, and one of them it's not as much of an offensive sign as in like using it like it's hard to explain. So there's a sign, it's the sign for a bad word in ASL, but especially for us who like younger generations in school, we used to do this game, and it's, you know, I don't know, Emily, I feel like you might know, but I also cannot wage age. So you may be like just right or like a few years older than me, or you may be completely like, no, we're not on the same age level. And I apologize, but
We're probably close.
So when we were in school, we would use, I can't even do it right, but it's like you're doing the shape of this, and you would tap on someone's, or you'd be like, hey, what? And then when they turn around and you'd be like this, and then make eye contact. And that was like a game. Okay.
That's the Proud Boys. That's the Proud Boys symbol. The one, the people who are
when they do
Semitic.
those are, but that's actually a sign for, excuse my language, but this is a sign for asshole. And so
that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yes, it does. And so that is one.
I like that one.
I'm trying to think.
That one.
A lot of times what's hard is when you're in college learning ASL, is a lot of times the teachers try to avoid giving you the bad signs or offensive signs, because they, in their mind, they're thinking they're doing you a service by not giving you those signs. But I'm also very big on, I like the exposure, because it shows me what I need to do what I need to not do, and recognize that in my classroom. I've always personally felt like just whenever I see people going, oh, you do this, that's kind of offensive. Not severely enough to be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you would say that. And again, I'm not deaf, so I'm not in that situation where I can be like, that was offensive, because it's not my culture. But I do feel like that is something, just when people do this, I feel like that's just kind of insulting, because it's it's like someone coming and, well, I can't even think of like an idea of it, but just randomly saying English words and saying, oh, you speak English?
Like speaking gibberish about somebody else's verbal language. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't do that either.
Yeah.
Right. Like well, we all know what, the cartoons used to do about anyway, yes.
Yes. And I will say,
those Asian things they used to do. Yeah.
And I will say, because for deaf culture, at least what I've seen or I've been informed of, is their biggest thing is they do not like seeing their like when people kind of come up to them, almost pitying them
Oh, yeah.
because of their disability. They're very proud of their deafness. It's not a disability to them sometimes. Now, some will say, oh yes, that's my disability. And some will very much be like, I have this different ability. And so that's just something where, or I think it's more of how we react and show when we come across a deaf person, where we're like, we either look at them like they're an alien, or we immediately talk to them like they are a child with multiple disabilities. We talk low to them. We look down at them. And I think those are very offensive and insulting in themselves. Now, there are signs that are offensive, obviously. And I wish I could have better information about this, but unfortunately I do not. There is actually, let me see, there's a Facebook group, and I love being a part of this Facebook group. It's called ASL That. And it's very informative. It can be get a little crazy.
What did you ASL what?
ASL That.
That.
THAT, that. Okay.
That. Let me see, because I'm trying to remember if I needed, like, you had to be, in order to join, you needed to have something and to be involved with the deaf community. I would feel you guys, since you take an ASL classes, that would be good. I'm trying to remember. I think you can just follow it itself. And what's real interesting about it is a lot of times people will, they will record themselves, and it's like asking the question, what's the sign you use for this word? How do you go about using this word? And there was a very interesting one on the sign for like the LGBTQ community. And how would you go about that? And that one, the reason I didn't show those signs was more just because it is still very like sensitive kind of conversation. And the signs are like I said, the signs are slowly changing. And those, I feel like those are signs that if you did sign the wrong one, it would be very offensive and it really could upset someone. And so of all else, if you did have to have it, did have to use one of the words in a conversation, again, I would just be finger spelling it. I feel like finger spelling is just kind of a safe bet. It's not, it's not like you're saying there's no context in it. It's almost like, when you say a word and you don't try to use any like intonation to kind of show where you're going, you just say the word and it's like safe. That's it. There's no emotion. You can't hear any of it. It's like that in ASL when you finger spell. Because it's just, like I said, it's new, it's slowly changing. And I'm very big on being that person I don't want to offend anyone. I want to be respectful. And especially as a teacher, I'm very big on, I want all children and adults, but my specialty is children, to feel safe and welcome. And I don't want them to ever feel like she's disrespected me or she's not going to be considerate for me. So I very much try to keep on the safer side of things. So I apologize if that's not as much as information as you would like. That's just kind of, that's as a person I am. And I feel like, and since, like I said, I'm not deaf, I cannot always fully be like, oh, this is how we do it, because this is how I do it. And this is how I communicate in the deaf community. And that's just kind of how providing to you guys. And I hope y'all have been enjoying it. I hope so. And I try to not go on my tangents, but I do. So, but yes, because I know that I did see the sign for transgender, and it's just an interesting one to me. Is like, I'll pull my hair back, is transgender, and it's like this, and so it's like you start with the palm,
like you change it, like something's changing, kind of.
Yes, it's like you're changing. So that's transgender. And
Interesting.
I think for the sign for like gay is just you finger spell the word, since it's a short word, very simple. But I'm trying to think. I've seen a sign for the word for lesbian, but also like I cannot remember if it was a negative sign or a positive sign. So I'm just gonna leave it
Just
at
say
that.
gay. So just spell gay.
So on a total different subject, while we were talking about the signs and saying for finger spelling, I said the word simple. I realized I did not give you guys the sign for simple. And I apologize. Miss Katie's going to be like, oh my gosh, there's no like theme for tonight's class. It is just random words all over the place. So the sign for simple is you're going to have your two F's. They're sideways. Simple, simple, simple. It's like you're brushing your thumbs across each other. Simple, simple. That's for like keeping it simple, you know, like if you're having a simple wedding, you're having, you know, a simple, I need you to write one simple sentence. Anytime you use the word simple, it's that simple. Sign for hard is hard's going to have your two X's. One X is sideways. The other one, you're going to tap on top. Hard, hard. And this is like for, excuse me, I have hiccups. Like saying like that table is hard. Like it's not soft. Or saying that test was hard. So anytime you use the word hard, that's kind of used, which I think is interesting because there are signs that do not use the same, they have a completely different sign, even though it's the same word. But it's like, I mean, English, I mean, you learn to really have frustrations with English and very much learn about why did we pick these words? Why did we pick these spellings? When you have a whole different language you teach in, and especially when it's on the hands, you just sit there and you go, why was that necessary English? Like you question it, but it's fun to question because I'm always just like, but the sign for basic. So for like basic information, kind of like basic knowledge of ASL, is you're going to have your non-dominant hand sideways, and your dominant hand is going to be in the form of a B, and you're going to circle under it. Basic, basic. And you're obviously, it'll be lower and be more, but for you all to see basic. So that's the sign for basic. I know we're almost out of time, and so I'm just going to give you a few more, and then I don't know how Miss Katie wants to end these classes, but we'll see. So the sign for create, like create, I want you to create a sentence. I want you're creative, things like that. So create is you have your pointer finger, 4 fingers are up. Pointer finger starts at your temple, and you go create, create, create. And it's like your ideas are coming forward, create. And then creative is creative, like it's both your hands, like creating, constantly creating. But I think that I'll stop here. Are there any other signs? Because while this technically, I think last chance, I don't know. But again, I'm always welcome. If you have a question, you can always shoot Miss Katie an email. She'll give you my email or something, and I can answer as best as I can. It's not we did one class and that was it. You are never to ask me again. Like, no, I'm more than happy to provide as much as I can. So are there any questions you guys have?
Are the videos going to stay up on the YouTube channel?
They are. And I was going to say, we have another class starting in 2 weeks. And, you know, just because the people in the class are going to be different, some of the things we learn might be different. So everything's going to be up, and I'll continue. I didn't get a chance to add timestamps for the last. I've still got some to add for week before last and last week, but I'm going to keep adding the timestamps so you can go to the library's YouTube channel, to the ASL playlist, and I mean, you're welcome at any time to look at any of those classes.
And I might even have some more
up. And the timestamps will show you like what our different topics covered and what signs we learned.
And
excellent.
Since this was, I like Miss Katie said in the beginning of this class, y'all were our guinea pigs. And as I've gone through this class, I've seen my changes that I want to add. And so I'm hoping that I will improve it. And I would like to very much make it more clear for you guys to see and give you guys.
What's the sign for guinea pig?
You know, I
How
have
about
wanted,
Winnie Pig? That was a joke. Okay.
I have wanted to look for, I'm trying to remember if I was trying to find the sign for guinea pig and if I found it or I didn't. because that was something I remember someone else, not in this class, but someone else asked me what the sign for that was. And I looked at them and I thought, I have no idea.
Well, you
We
know,
were talking
my
about-
son was in Peru and that's what they eat. That's what they, first thing he had, it was a guinea pig. I was like, okay, thank you for telling me. Anyway,
but
just rodent, probably, just rodent.
did I ever show y'all the sign for rat? I'm sorry.
I think you did, but I
Rat
think it,
Wasn't it like, or,
rat is you kind of brush against your nose. Rat. And
oh, okay.
like if you're describing Mickey Mouse, well, Mickey Mouse, you would first off
would
do
be
the
the ears, yeah.
But you would, if you're describing the rat, like that he's like a mouse, like you'd be like the mouse, Mickey Mouse, which I always thought was funny because I always think of this as being like, that's a rat, ew. But then you use it for
Ew.
mouse. So
That's funny.
yeah.
Well, Katie, my sister-in-law was asking me if you were going to do more than just that. Didn't you say originally back when you first sent this out to the library, you were going to do it all summer, every 8 weeks? Well, that's,
Yeah,
there's
I've already
only,
got the classes set up. So anybody that wants to register can go to the library's, the adult calendar on the website and just click through and see like the next dates starts
Right.
June.
well, she can't do the
And
first
then-
one. She didn't know if it was going to go on through the summer, like August or something. I didn't know.
We've got them planned for the beginning of June, the beginning of August, and the beginning of October.
Okay, I'll tell
Anyway,
her about
we've got them
August.
planned. There should be 4 more classes this year, I think.
Okay.
I can't remember. I'd have to look at the calendar, but
Thank you.
and
That's all.
the
I'll tell her to
reservations
check
are
this.
already open. So, you know, if she wanted to take one, she could just go look through the calendar to find dates that made sense for her. I mean,
Right.
the other thing I wanted to mention is we do have new books at the library about American Sign Language. So in addition to the workbook I showed, we had about 5 others come in. So if you get a chance, all of those books are in the 400s. I think they should be upstairs with the rest of the language, but occasionally new books, well, most of our new books are downstairs with the new collection. Most of the time language books don't live down there because languages don't change a whole lot. So if you come in and you don't see any downstairs, look upstairs in the 400s. And any of the librarians can look up the call number for you if I'm not there and show you where those are if you're interested.
Thank you.
This was great, guys. Thank you so much. Katie, Jillian,
Thank you,
thanks
Andy.
for all
It
your
was so
hard
much
work.
fun.
It
Well,
was
thank
fun.
you guys for joining and being interested in ASL.
Good job,
because
Jillian.
Happy to
I
be
know,
your
right?
Jillian, you were
I give
awesome.
myself
Awesome.
Or
I mean,
don't we do
Okay.
this?
Oh,
Don't
I
we
know. I
actually do
wanted
this?
to say something else. Hopefully in the fall, we're going to start planning. We're going to start doing programs in person at the library in the fall. And hopefully we can have an ASL reunion. And
Reunion.
all
Yay.
together. So
I was gonna say what might be really fun to do is have what there are these things called silent dinners where we all go out to eat and the entire time you cannot talk. You have to sign.
Oh,
It's a
that would never
challenge,
work.
but
Never happened.
So
Beth and I
much
will
fun.
not shut up.
Unlikely. Trust me, I promise you, like I was the same way. Like, I mean, I say these silent dinners, but when the first one I went to, I was like, I'm gonna sign words, but it's like I can't keep quiet. I talk too much. That's why these classes always go over. It's because I cannot stop talking. So. But
I
those are
love
always
it.
fun to like
I don't
just
know if I can
kind of
do
get
that.
you guys used to using them in actual conversation. So that's something we can also definitely try.
Yeah, I
Well,
love the
I
idea of
will-
all this going out.
I will keep in touch with our group. And then I will let y'all know as we get closer to the fall, you know, kind of what we're looking at as far as having a get together. But, you know, check in with us. And if I'm assuming that most of you already get the library email that tells you, you know, what's
That's
going
how I
on.
learned about this. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So just keep an eye on that and you'll see all the stuff that's coming up and any ASL related information would show up there. So yeah. Thanks, y'all.
Thank
you.
you.
It was awesome.
Thank
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mwah, mwah. Y'all were awesome.
Happy Memorial Day. And Andy, real quick, how is your son?
Daughter.
I mean, it's
Son's
your
a-
daughter and son-in-law,
Yeah,
but I'm
They're
sorry.
doing great. Thank you so much for all your
Ceasefire.
prayers. There's
Yes.
smaller rockets going to the smaller outlying towns, but the big rockets have stopped, and I feel like
Wow.
she's safe for a while. So thank you
I'm
so much.
Really, I've
Grateful
thought
for
about it all
everybody's
week, so That's
prayers.
great. That's great. Okay.
All right. See
All right.
y'all
Thanks,
later.
everybody. Happy Memorial Day.
Same
Bye,
to
everybody.
Bye.
I'm gonna look at
Bye.
all
Good.
8 classes over the Memorial Day weekend. I say I'm going to. I hope I am. Bye.